Winning reporter Nicole Hannah-Jones writes, if true justice and equality are ever to be achieved in the United States, the country must finally take seriously what it owes Black Americans. MSNBC correspondent Tremaine Lee interviewed Nicole Hannah-Jones in his latest Into America podcast on reparations. Tremaine joins me now. And Tremaine, what are the factors that Nicole talked about here that are contributing or have contributed to the racial wealth gap in our country?
Hey, Allison, more than just contributions, the actual source, the root of the wealth gap goes back to shortly after emancipation, when the entire, enslaved population, formerly enslaved population, really were pushed out with absolutely nothing, starting from ground zero. And even though the government had promised some restitution in 40 acres and a mule, those promises fell through. And in fact, the former, plantation owners were given back that land that had been promised to enslaved people. But then after that, decades and decades of Jim Crow laws, lack of access to jobs, depressed housing values, on and on, up from after emancipation through Reconstruction, redemption, into the 50s and 60s. All of these contributing factors, including the actual violent dispossession of wealth, the actual bombing of Black Wall Street, the actual burning and looting of Black communities all across the country. And that land and that wealth and resources were never returned.
So how do we begin to close the gap between Black and white Americans? And what would closing that gap mean for Black Americans, their future, their economic security?
Well, part of the issue has always been that Black folks haven't been able to accumulate the wealth and then pass it on, like buying a house and then passing it on to your children, or taking the equity out of that and passing it on. And so Nicole Hannah-Jones argues that there is only one solution, and that's restitution or reparations. Let's take a listen to what she has to say.
Imagine this. Tomorrow morning, the United States announces that every Black American is entitled to $151 million in reparations. Not just a symbolic gesture, but actual life-changing wealth, deposited directly into the hands of those whose ancestors built this country for free. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, by the end of this video, you'll not only understand why this is entirely possible, but also why every Black American should never pay taxes again. Yes, you heard that right. Never pay taxes again.